This is the dream I wish I never had. This is a new series about my dreams, believe it or not, my absolutely horrendous, horrible dreams that I have at night. And because I have so many of them, I have decided to make a new series. So it showcases the absolute horrors that are in my brain at night and what I have to endure. I'll try to do every dream that I have. That's absolutely horrific. Some I can't draw because I would honestly get banned from every platform on the internet. Some of it's that bad that I can't show the world. I'm going to be digging up a lot of dreams from my past and a lot of recent ones as well. So sit back, get completely creeped out, and be absolutely amazed at the absolute terrible shit that is in my head and that I dream at night that I have no control over. I think this is a great introductory video for this series because this is going to be the most messed up start to my nightmares series. So sit back, relax, because you won't relax for too long once you hear this story. I was standing by the lake. There were police, forensics, everywhere. It was a clear sky, bright sunny day. We were all standing by a lake. The lake was not clear. It was slightly muddy. There were rocks around. There was grass. And why was I standing on the side of this lake observing people doing what they were doing? I have no idea. I was just an observer. I wasn't a policewoman. I wasn't forensics. But yet, there was a part of me that knew I shouldn't be there. But for some reason, I was allowed, and the police and forensics were letting me be there. I turned to one of the police officers and I said, "What is happening? What is going on? Why is everybody in the lake and around the lake?" And the police officer replied to me. He said, "We found a body." At that point in time, I was a little frightened to see what I was going to see, but I was also curious to know who was in the lake. So as the divers were coming up from the lake, I braced myself for what I was about to see. What was it going to be? Male, female? Who knew? Until I set my eyes on it. They dragged this thing out from the lake. It was very small. It wasn't a full body. I was slightly confused as they pulled this thing from the water and laid it on the rocks. I couldn't believe my eyes. It was a woman. And Her body was missing. All that remained was her head, her neck, the tops of her shoulders, and some of her chest, which was not much at all. Some ribs were exposed. There was not much blood, if any at all, because the blood had all been drained, and all that remained was pink flesh. And the most startling thing about it all was her bottom jaw had been ripped and twisted to one side. It was the most disturbing thing I've ever seen. She had blonde hair, long blonde hair, the most piercing blue eyes. She was absolutely gorgeous. And the only thing that could pop into my head was who would do this to an absolutely beautiful young woman. I was absolutely mortified. I studied her. I studied every part of this small chunk of this woman, and was just felt absolutely sorry for her. What led her to this point in her life? She got tangled up with somebody that did this to her. She had claw marks on her face, on her neck. You can see that someone had just picked up something and knocked her jaw to one side with a very blunt, heavy object, and then tried to rip the rest of her jaw off with skin hanging. Her bottom teeth were hanging to one side. It was a frightful sight. I didn't know her name, I knew nothing of her, but I couldn't believe that someone had done this to her. Where was the rest of her body? Why was she just cut off at the collarbones, just below the shoulders? I'd never seen anything like it in my life. Her hair was so long and laying there on the grass. Some of it was starting to fall out. There was bits and pieces of hair that were just laying there, not even connected to her head anymore. How long she had been in that lake, nobody knew, but I can't imagine that she would have been there too long. There were hints of green on her. The rest of her skin was okay. Her flesh was still pink. What a mess. The next thought that creeped into my head was, who reported this? I would be making them #1 suspect, because no one knew she would have been there. She was on the bottom of the lake. The police and the forensics told me to leave. It was time to bag her and tag her. As a Jane Doe, nobody knew who she was. Not yet. Hopefully you enjoyed that story, that very, very creepy story. Let me know if this creeped the absolute shit out of you, because if it did, I will keep doing these, because that's what the aim of the game is. The more scared you can be, well, I've done my job. I spent a lot of time on this piece. This took me quite a while to execute the way that I wanted to, and I'm very happy with how it turned out, as completely gruesome and disturbing as it is. Very happy with this illustration through and through. I would be really interested in knowing if any of you guys out there have really, really terrifying dreams or nightmares, and if you have been having them all your life, or just started having them, or whatever. I'm just curious to know, because I've had absolutely just disturbing dreams right from a child, and they have never stopped. I can't believe the stuff that I dream about, and what I tell people as well about what I dream about is just, people are just like, really? That's what comes out of your brain? Like, yeah, that's what I dream about. And my dreams usually entail, being chased, or, hiding from bad people, or seeing completely gruesome stuff like murders, decapitations. In this case, someone being dragged out of a lake, being shot myself and feeling myself dying in the dream, monsters, demons. One I had a dream about, which I'm going to be doing soon. This was going back quite a few years ago. It was absolutely frightening with demons. It's like I was leaning up against a wall, and I woke up and the demons were completely devouring my legs. I could see my flesh. I could see my bone in coming through my legs. That will probably be the next one that I draw, which is that dream will forever haunt me. That one was probably one of my most memorable ones, because it was a very short dream. It was just, I gained consciousness while I was laying against like this stone floor and sitting up against this stone wall in what appeared to be a dungeon. And yeah, I won't blow too much of the story now, so I'll leave that till the next one. So it's a bit of a spoiler, I must admit, for the next video. I don't know when that will be, but it will be sometime in the next couple of months. I will release that one, and yeah, absolutely terrify you guys once again with those videos. This one is gruesome, I know. It's quite unpleasant. Yeah, her face, even as I was drawing it, I was like, wow, this is probably gonna scare quite a few people with this. So yeah, like I said, done my job. If this has like creeped you out or just disturbed you in some way or another. But in all saying that, hopefully you enjoyed this, and yeah, you enjoyed the beginning of this new series that I'm going to be putting out, because it's going to be added to the rest of the series that I have. Like, I need another series, but anyway. Yeah, I am out of here, and I hope that you have pleasant dreams, if you know what I mean. See you in the next one. Bye.